Breaking news coverage continues here on Fox News Channel. A major terror attacks in London, leaving at least 6 people dead, at least 30 injured, 3 suspects also killed in the attacks. But the investigation into how this happened, even though they believe the attackers in this case were all killed, the investigation just beginning. Joining me now, former intelligence officer and adjunct fellow at the Hudson Institute, Michael Pregent. Michael, you and I spoke after the Manchester attacks a couple of weeks ago, and you said the threat level, in your estimation, was still extraordinarily high. Is this kind of in the vicinity of what you were thinking?
Well, thanks for having me on again, Trace. Well, the intelligence services in England are still looking at the Manchester incident, so they're still working that. And then along comes the attack tonight. The law enforcement, intel, they're overburdened, they're overtaxed in this situation, and they're going to have to catch up with this one. They made the 17th arrest in the Manchester bombing this morning, and now they're working on this attack. But there's some pretty interesting indicators in this attack that may lead to something else.
Yeah, I'm curious when tomorrow and Theresa May meets with her group, with her national security people, if they raise the level back up again to critical. I mean, what does it solve? What does it do? I mean, it clearly didn't do very much in this case. So is it just raising awareness? Is it trying to get people on their toes? Or what are they trying to achieve here? Well,
I mean, the interesting thing about tonight is Brits were actually on their toes. I mean, if you look at this attack, ISIS tells would-be followers to use a vehicle, kill as many people as you can, get out of the vehicle, start stabbing as many people as you can, or shooting them. In this case, some of the attackers wore fake suicide vests. So this leads me to believe that they were trying to take over a restaurant or a bar and actually hold up there, kill as many people as they can, and then be killed by the police before or after they pledged allegiance to ISIS. But in this case, the Brits fought back. They threw bottles and bar stools at a would-be attacker in one of these bars, and it thwarted the attack. They ran away. And a lot of times when these unskilled fighters are actually encounter resistance, they run away. So that was a good thing that happened tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point because, you know, we still haven't gotten the breakdown, Michael, of what the death count was of those who were on the London Bridge and those who were actually in the bars in borough markets. So we don't know. But yes, indeed, as soon as these people came with knives, they were throwing bottles, using chairs. I mean, they were going after them, trying to get them. So yeah, I guess you're right. But the question remains, you know, what's next? It's a psychological thing for ISIS or whoever might be behind this to go after some tourists at some kind of major destination.
Well, I mean, that's just you're vulnerable everywhere. I mean, there have been attacks in Baghdad where the security posture is always heightened, and they can certainly attack in the West. I mean, there's complicated attacks, there's sophisticated attacks, and in this case, it's as simple as renting a vehicle, getting some knives, and putting on some fake vests and causing panic. So people have to pay attention here and there. They have to start practicing battle drills with their buddies when they go to bars. Where are the exits? What are weapons I can use? Is this beer bottle a weapon? Is this bar stool a weapon? You have to think that way. You can't overreact, but at the same time, if you're close to an attacker within 1 to 5 feet, you have to fight. If you don't fight, you're likely going to die.
Yeah, but you go back, and I guess the whole theme here is that, you know, the intelligence has got to be better. You got to stop these things before these vans get on the London Bridge or these bombs get in the foyer of the Manchester arena, correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we'll probably learn that these individuals were already being tracked by intelligence and law enforcement forces. But this is the interesting thing about this attack. You have 3 like-minded individuals that didn't seem to have sophisticated training agree that tonight they were going to kill and they were going to be killed, whether it's in the name of fighting for ISIS or Al-Qaeda or another group. But this leads me to believe that there's a leader that told them to do this, or one of the individuals killed was actually the leader. So as a former intelligence officer, I'd be looking at the individuals, try to determine who the leader was. And if they were all peers, then there's a leader outside that group. So there's a lot of intelligence that still needs to be gathered. And again, this is early. We don't know how many people are involved or whether this is part of a larger cell, a larger operation.
Yeah, and I guess, are you worried about the timing? I mean, we talk about 3 months, 3 attacks, 2 weeks, 2 attacks. The 2 attacks in 2 weeks is really kind of concerning. Does it concern you?
It does. It can happen anywhere. And again, terrorism needs 24/7 news media coverage in order to have success. It's always been the case. So anytime these attacks happen, of course the media has to cover them. And in covering them, a lot of times people that see these things are able to provide information to law enforcement. But they thrive on this. They can see how easy it is to do, and they wait for that lull. I mean, Manchester's security is heightened, so they moved it somewhere else. And that's the issue. These attacks will happen, even if it's not Ramadan. These things still happen.
Yeah, it really is. Good insight. Michael Pregent, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Trace. Thank you.